What's up, everybody? This is Ask Jason Lee. You got questions, I got answers. Let's go. All right, if you're just tuning in and you don't know what the hell I'm doing, I'm answering questions that people want to know. If you're on my social media, you're paying attention to what I'm doing, you're asking me questions that you want me to answer. Even though I go live a lot with my friends or my supporters, we don't use fans, we say supporters or friends, I wanted to create an episode that people could share on and on and on social media, but also to be able to answer questions in more depth, specifically to you. So I have questions that you submitted and I'm going to read them now. Question number 1 comes from Super Nerd. How important is paying it forward to you, and how do you decipher between a person worth investing in as opposed to someone using you for a come up? Wow, that's a powerful question. I'll tell you, I've pretty much learned the people that are here for a come up. And let me just break that down in different areas, right? I have people on my team who are invested in the Hollywood Unlocked brand, are invested in me. I don't know, do they want to do something for themselves later that they want me to help them with, or do they just want to learn, or do they just want a job? That is never a question for me, because I know the people that have invested in me at some point want to do their own thing, and we're figuring out how we can partner on projects outside of Hollywood Unlocked. Now, when it comes to just people off the street who walk up to me and say, hey, I want you to give this song to so-and-so, or I want you to give this shirt to so-and-so, or can you help me with this and that? I know really quickly how to categorize those type of relationships. And I've been pretty successful at creating somewhat of a filter around me where there's so many different people in different areas of my brand and my business that they have to go to. If somebody wants me on a TV show or to create a TV show with me, they go to my attorneys or my agents. Is it somebody that wants to be booked on my show? They go to iHeart or the show producers. If it's somebody that wants me to get in touch with somebody else, they go through the agency and they gotta have a check. But I've learned pretty much how to decipher people who are genuinely around me for me, and that came by way of cutting almost everybody off. Everybody says it's lonely at the top, and I will say as you continue to get more and more successful, specifically in the entertainment business, you do learn who to take with you on that journey and when to let people out. Because everybody that starts with you is not going to cross the finish line. And you got to get over the guilt that comes with that. Question number 2 comes from Tracy Eyes. After writing and releasing your book, God Must Have Forgotten About Me, do you still believe God forgot about you? Well, I'm not going to give away the whole theme of the book, but if you do read the book, in each story on each page, I talk about the feeling that we all have when we're let down, whether we're questioning whether God is real or not, or we're just saying, hey, God, can you show up? And sometimes when you continue to go through it and you feel like he hasn't showed up, you feel that God must have forgot about you. So this book details those experiences that I've had, but you're going to have to read the book to hear all the lessons that I've learned, because along the way, you learn that God's always with you. Question number 3 comes from Tiffany Robinson. What inspired you to keep going, and how do you continue? Well, the ongoing theme I've been saying everywhere I go is that you really have to live with faith or fear. You can't live with both. I've chosen to live by faith, and in having faith, you have to have a deep-rooted sense of confidence that no matter what storm comes your way, you're going to have to weather it, right? Whether that's a storm in your personal life or a storm in your business. You have to choose, are you going to be strong enough to go through everything that comes your way? Or are you just here temporarily and you're gonna, falter and just wither away? I'm in it for the long haul. Like I said in a previous episode, when I decided to create Hollywood Unlocked, I started with an exit plan, meaning I had a start plan and an execution plan and an exit plan. So I never gotten in this to start it, to execute it, and not get to the finish line. But that doesn't mean that I've never felt that it was gonna be easy or that everything was just gonna be handed to me. I've always felt the pains and pressures of being a self-made entrepreneur, as being an employer, as being one voice in the culture of many voices. Some of them should be voiceless because they ain't talking about shit. But I had to decide that when I got in the game, I was here to stay. And I'm going to stay until I'm done running this race, and then I'm going to be out. Next question from Harlem_hot_boy. Have you thought about turning your book into a movie? It's so crazy you would ask that. After I put the book out, I started getting calls from production and movie houses who read my book and who thought that my book should be converted into some kind of documentary or TV show or something like that. None of those conversations have been serious yet, so I don't have anything to worry about. But I never thought about it. When I wrote the book, I didn't think, oh, I'm going to turn this into a movie or I'm going to turn this into a sitcom or a documentary. I literally wrote the book to tell my story so that way I could hope inspire other people who have found themselves on similar journeys. Now, if I do get approached for the right situation, would I do it? Of course I would do it. But it would have to have integrity, and it would really have to have the sense of feel that all of you who've read my book can understand and have read and felt. It can't just be for the sake of getting a check or for the sake of having a movie or a documentary. It would really have to have a purpose behind it, and there would have to be a very detailed plan on why I was putting something like that out. What I do love about writing the book and having these conversations about it potentially becoming a movie or a TV show is that there are so many people out there with dreams, man, who go through life dumping them off, pulling over to the side of the road and dumping their dreams off. And I don't understand that. I mean, I get that the idea of living out your dreams can be hard, but I mean, life in general is hard. Living in this world is hard. Having President Trump as our leader is hard, but you gotta stick with it. You gotta keep going. And yeah, man, I would do a movie. And if anybody out there knows anybody looking to do a movie, you hit me up. Next question is from XO_serenade me. Your books taught a lot of people about you and your experiences, but what has your book in the process of executing it taught you about yourself? I won't lie, man, reading back over all those stories and all those chapters and each page, line by line, reminded me of how strong I was. I didn't really think about it, and I've never really sat back and thought about how strong I was as an individual, because when you go through things, it's like being on a plane with turbulence. You're just trying to get through it, right? And when you make it through, you enjoy that the turbulence is over. I never thought about strength or how strong I was as I was going through all of it. And it wasn't until I gifted the book to a few friends and they read it and said to me, like, wow, I'm surprised you actually made it through. Like, you made it through and you still got your sense. It's interesting, though, the other day I did see on social media, somebody saw a video of me interacting with people and I hugged the people, but they said I gave no emotion, that they didn't see any emotion, they didn't see any warmth from me, that it felt like a really cold hug. And I will say that one of the things that I am still working on, especially because now people are starting to tell me what they feel about my past and feeling sorry for me or feeling sorry for the young Jason that went through all the things as a young kid, is I'm learning how to accept other people's love. And one thing I'll tell you is that Tiffany Haddish and I talk every day. And I caught myself, I was telling Charlamagne, I caught myself that when Tiffany hangs up, every single phone call, she says, I love you so much, or I'm proud of you, and I'm so excited for everything happening for you, and I just love you. And I hang up on her right before she says it. I know now when she's gonna do it, I just hang up on her. And so I had to tell Tiffany the other day, like, I want to acknowledge that I've been hanging up on you before you say I love you and before you tell me anything positive. And I know it's because it's hard for me to receive that, because I know the expectation is to say I love you back. Not that she expects it, but you say that back, right? And that's a lot of pressure to tell somebody that you love them. And being vulnerable is still not easy for me that way. I can be vulnerable in my book because I just put it all in there and I put the book out and people read it, and you're reading it in your own homes. You're reading it in your cars. You're not reading it to me. I'm learning to be more receptive to love and to giving love back. All right, next question comes from Alex Flores_831. After writing an awesome book and having it become a top seller, will you be writing a second book? I fell in love with writing books. I'm not a bestseller yet, although my book is a top seller. It's not a bestseller yet. Am I going to write a second book? Yeah, I'm going to write at least 2 more books. I know one already in my mind. I've already kind of outlined it in my mind. And that's going to be more of a how-to guide on how to get in this game and how to dominate, but also through sharing a lot of my personal stories, both in and outside the industry with celebrities or influential people. And that helps shape decisions that I've made and how I've become a very aggressive and assertive business person. When I launch that book, I also want to launch online tutorials, so that way I may not be able to have conversations with millions of people, but I can at least create online courses that people can download and have at their disposal anytime they want a refresher course that goes along with the book for them to be able to be successful. I never thought that I would create a book like that because that wasn't my thing. But the more and more lessons that I get out of this industry that I know the industry didn't teach me, I want to be the guy that passes that on to everybody else. I just feel like a lot of people are out here, especially in LA. There's 9-10 million people here, everybody interested in some degree of being somewhere in the business, but have no clear direction on where to go. I even look at some of the people online who are doing what I've done, and who are trying to get to the level of where my career and my brand is, but still struggle with understanding the mechanics, the politics, and all of the various things they need in order to reach the level of success that I've been able to go. And I'm not even there yet. Like, I still have a lot more to go. Just today I got called about a deal opportunity, right? A big one. But I believe that next book, this first book, gives you the outline of the personal stuff that a lot of us got to work through in order to be receptive to all of the opportunities in our business life or our productive life is going to offer us outside of our own personal experiences. So yeah, I have more books coming. I mean, one book at a time. Let me get through this book. I want to really tour on this book. I'm going around and I'm speaking at Barnes and Nobles. I'm speaking, in different colleges and stuff like that, some groups of 20, 50, 600. But I am building my own personal speaking platform that this book will help me get into the lives and get into the rooms with thousands and thousands of people to be able to share my story and to build a really credible nationwide or worldwide book community that supports any books that I do decide to put out in the future. All right, one more question. At Joy76120. How do you handle your celebrity friendships and report the facts when they're involved in the story? How do you remain objective and maintain your friends? When I created Hollywood Unlocked, I wanted to create a platform that gave people first-hand view on what their favorite celebrity was doing. So what better way than to create a platform where I can use my relationships to clear up things that aren't true? So when people are chasing stories or trying to create drama online, I actually call the people to get the real tea. Because if you think about it, not one person has ever come for Hollywood Unlocked that said that our tea was not true. That's because we don't spill false tea. Now, I am going to continually reach out and use my relationships to be able to create, partnerships with people where we can, or at least a pathway to go straight to them as a source whenever we have to clear things up. But in terms of my personal friendships, I would say I can count my celebrity friendships on one hand. Now, I know that's hard to believe because if you've seen me with a lot of people or you see me with some people a lot of times, that doesn't necessarily make them my actual friend. And we also have very clear boundaries. Like, one thing I don't do is anything that goes down in personal time. Like, if we're in private time, I respect that. And they understand that. But when we're in a public setting or there's a public things happening, they understand I have a job to do. And that's why I can count my celebrity friends on one hand, because those people understand my job and they know what being my friend means. It means that sometimes you're going to get a difficult phone call, or sometimes you're going to read something that you don't like. But hey, you out there doing it. It ain't my fault. And it's funny because sometimes when I ain't gonna say who, but there's one person, and when I text or call that person, the first thing they say is, "What I do? Am I in trouble? Something bad?" Everything ain't bad, but yeah, I do make the phone calls and I do try to have direct access to as many people as I can so that way I can clear up things quickly and keep things moving. All right, so listen, for those of you that have watched this video, what I want you to do now, since we're doing this all differently, we partner with a company called Yappa, and that means we want you to yap with us. Go to HollywoodUnlocked.com right here and then find the search bar and search this episode of Ask Jason Lee. Make sure you're going there and registering to yap with us. Leave a video comment, and I might just take your next video question and put it right here in the show.